Shadowheart's a funny frog. I like her fringe, though. Very blunt.
Shadowheart. Shadowheart. I'm sure her parents meant well, but the name's a little ominous, isn't it? Unless she chose it herself. Which is even more worrying, honestly.
Mark my word. The half-elf's an abyss of lies and secrets. Shadowheart indeed.
Beneath her forbidding countenance, I sense this cleric will prove quite the companion. A wise decision to let her join us.
Mysterious, that Shadowheart. And mysteriously endearing. Behind those eyes lurk uncountable secrets.
I've got my eye on that rogue. For a few reasons. He's not infernal, at least. But there's something else about him. Let's hope whatever's going on under that impressive mop is good news.
The imperious elf's got the red eyes and pale skin of a white. And I'm not convinced he's any more trustworthy.
Astarion's an interesting find. Let's hope any future acquaintances don't hold a blade to your throat by way of introduction.
Another joins our merry band. We'll need to keep our wits sharp around him, I think.
Astarion has a certain swagger, don't you find? An interesting fellow. Nice hair to boot.
I bet Lae'zel is absolutely lethal with that sword. She can teach me how to slice, and I'll teach her how to bash.
I am enjoying the latest addition to our little group. Lae'zel is delightful. In a very look at me twice and I'll dismember you kind of way, of course.
Lae'zel has a dangerous look in her eyes. Let's just hope she reserves those impulses for any common foes.
A Githyanki joining our company. Not a collaboration I'd have anticipated, but a welcome one nonetheless.
Githyanki are impressive. Cold as ice when they're not blazing hot. I wager Lae'zel's no exception.
Well done getting the wizard on board. He can zap from afar while I smack up close. But if he tries to get me to read any tomes, I will scream.
So, we've picked up a wizard who managed to get stuck in his own portal. Hardly a promising introduction.
I've heard you can't get blood from a stone, but apparently you can get a wizard from one. Gale seems interesting.
The wizard was a useful find. Let's hope he's as powerful as he is verbose.
A good wizard is hard to find. Let's make Gale feel welcome, as best we can.
We may have to increase our camp provisions now that we have Karlach along for the journey. Those muscles don't run on fresh air, I'll wager. Still, she'll be useful in a fight.
I knew we were a strange band, but a fugitive from the hells? Now that's someone worth knowing. Not that I want to get on the wrong side of any devils, but this Karlach is a survivor. Plus, I appreciate anyone who opens a conversation with threats of bodily harm.
Karlach's got the brawn of a warrior and the wiles of a survivor. Best of all, she speaks her mind plainly and fully. Show her due respect.
An ally fresh from the hells themselves. Our company grows stranger by the minute. And all the better for it.
The Githyanki people have a word for men like the Blade of Frontiers. Shalak, roughly translated, idealist do-gooder, or better yet, benevolent burden. His confidence is an asset. His pursuit of valor, not so much.
So, we're traveling with the famed Blade of Frontiers. I feel safer already.
The Blade of Frontiers. Let's hope Wyll lives up to his name. We'll need all the help we can get.
I've known a few warlocks in my time. Talented, of course, though sometimes too eager to listen to the devils on their shoulders. Comes with the territory, unfortunately.
Glad Wyll saw sense. Even more glad he decided to stick around. Takes a pretty slick mover to track down old Karlach. Fair. But still, the man's got a reputation for being lethal with that blade. I'm glad it's on our side. Same. Now, instead of a liability, I've got a friend. Or I will have soon, anyway. He won't. Someone wrong-footed him about me, and I'm betting we'll find out who before long. I respect someone who can admit when they're wrong, and stick around after, too. Plus, did you see his eye? Bet there's a good story there.
It doesn't seem long ago that Minthara would have sought to kill us, and now we've welcomed her along. We're nothing if not magnanimous.
I want to be clear. Letting Minthara tag along with us was your idea, so if you wake up with a dagger to your throat, that's on you. Excuse me? I would never. But fine. Take her if you wish. Just know I'll be resting with one eye open. I hope so. Otherwise, we may all be killed in our beds. Excuse me. I'm sorry for looking out for our collective hides. But fine. Take her if you wish. Just know I'll be resting with one eye open.
The drow is unpredictable, uncompromising. I respect her almost as much as I distrust her.
Minthara's something of a closed book, but I suspect a heart of gold lurks beneath that stern countenance. Once she gets to know me, I'm sure she'll open up. She's just waiting for someone ready to listen.
It's about time Halsin actually stepped up and joined us properly. He's certainly been taking up space at camp for long enough.
I think I'll enjoy traveling with Halsin. Not for his wit or wisdom. He'll just make an excellent shield if we're attacked.
Halsin's proved himself a fine ally already. He'll be useful in battle, if those tree trunk arms are an indication.
A savvy move recruiting Halsin to our cause. While I'm adept at most forms of weave manipulation, druidic magic is not my area of expertise. He will make for a most useful option to have in reserve.
Halsin is one hench elf. I'm impressed. And glad he's on our side.
Halsin is such a delight. Woe to the cultist who tangles with that thick hunk of an elf.
Boo seems like a worthy addition to our group. His pet, Minsc, may prove useful also.
So, we can add one bald wall of muscle to our little group. I'm sure he'll come in handy. Maybe as a doorstop.
I will fight alongside Minsc. But if he so much as refers to my butt, let alone attempts to kick it, I will skewer that damned hamster of his.
On Kresh Kalir, giant space hamsters are a staple food. Their hocks are quite scrumptious, if a bit fatty. Giant space hamsters. I've never heard of a miniature version, let alone a conversant one. Which means Boo is either a rare specimen or an ordinary hamster. Either way, I'm not about to go nibbling on him.
Minsc just joined our team. This is the best day of my life.
Minsc seems quite the, enthusiastic ally. Would all do well to remain on his good side. And out of the range of his fists.
Minsc has great heart. We shall need the likes of him for the trials to come.
The beloved ranger. I can't believe it. I grew up hearing all about your brave deeds. And Boo's, of course.
The bravery was mostly Boo's. Minsc simply followed with the shouting and waving of swords.
My father told me all about how you struck down the mad cleric Basileus. How... Goodness, my palms are all sweaty. It's just that you were always my hero.
I broke bread and evil bones with a child of Baal. Minsc is not so judgy as you, my friend. So long as Wyll's deed was done for good.
I know it was. I gave my soul so that the people of Baldur's Gate might live.
Your parasite tingles. Minsc knows that Wyll speaks true.
Minsc himself was once almost swayed by a succubus, until Boo's set to biting in particular places.
Really?
Really and truly. Being swayed by evil does not count, so long as you are swift with the smiting afterwards.
Smiting evil is my middle name.
Blade of smiting evil frontiers. If it is all the same, Minsc and Boo will just call you Wyll.
Oh, ye gods. Never change, Minsc. Never change.
I think you might have made a terrible, terrible mistake. Huh? Chasing rumor halfway around the city and back. Crossing the guild. Wading through filth. Defying the one creature upon whom your very life depends. All for a madman and his rodent.
Who would know the meaning of your meaningful glances?
The Absolute threatens thousands. The entire coast. And still you risked much to help one man. I should berate you. But I can only say thank you. Your reasons were your own. But whether you meant for it or not, your fight is our fight, huh? Both of us. To the very end. Do not take that tone with me, rodent! Fine, fine. All three of us, then. Yes, it was. If you need confirmation of my gratitude, only look. Here I stand, awaiting orders. So, lead the way. We're yours to command.